Should the White House stay on lockdown? Should Trump actually hire people to guard just him that he personally meets with, personally believes in, and actually not trust the government to do it? Well, today we're going to be talking about why that's important. You know, last week there was a White House situation where they did lock down, and it was because of the front lawn, the dangers of it. Well, today we're going to talk about someone who was actually guarding the White House, who had a breach, and now actually came out and against Trump and actually said he has ways to get to him. Wow, big deal. We're going to talk about how important this is. Is Trump really truly safe? And then we're going to talk about how we push against, China owning farmland. We push against big business buying our homes. We push against all that. I'm going to tell you about a new report that came out that shows that a whopping amount of our house sales, home sales, land sales, even though the politicians love to talk about how much they're helping you, who's actually buying the homes? It will blow your mind. And it's not people from America. It's not even American business. Billions upon billions upon billions invested from international sources. And the biggest is the one that they pushed against the most. It'll blow your mind. And then we're going to talk about the dangers of our society. X and Meta both putting out new companions, new avatar companions that are supposed to emulate and represent everything you want in a friend, a companion, a husband, a wife, a spouse. And they're going to be that for you. A confidant. Someone that AI makes just for you. FDA under RFK comes out and starts to embrace psychedelics. We still have terrible food. We still have not banned pharmaceuticals. People are still not getting arrested for the dangers that they cause from us. And all the politicians want to bring up all this stuff. They want to bring them before the Congress, and nothing's actually happened. What we're showing is all this. This whole societal situation keeps us poor, fat, drugged, gamed, and completely controlled. Is this really what we wanted when we talk about freedom? And then in the part of that, I'm going to tell you about a drone situation in my town that just got overwhelming support from our chief. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. We appreciate you and humbly thank you, because I know sometimes our videos are hard to find, and when you come, it means the world to us. So thank you. Also remember our other channel, Life with Colby Mack. That is my vlog channel. We just talk about uplifting things, talk about the farm, and talk about how we choose to live sustainable as a family. So go check that out. Also, that's a way that you can easily find me if something happens here. Also, my wife has a channel, Life on the Farm. Go check it out. It's from her perspective of life, how we do it on the farm. Now let's talk about these core issues. First, let's talk about the White House. Now remember last week, I didn't really talk about it much, but they locked down the front lawns of the White House because of a security breach. You're like, okay, well that probably happens a lot. I mean, people are fools. People are crazy. I want you to listen to the story that Project Veritas just broke. And this is why I kind of push, and even a year ago, I mean literally 2 days ago I think, but a year from 2 days ago was Butler. And we're still not finding out the truth of that. That's what blows my mind. And that's why I say that Trump really, and anyone that is pushing its narrative, needs private protection, because I don't know if government protection is the answer. Why do I say that? Here you go. Project Veritas catches Secret Service guard compromising White House security. This is a story from Headline USA. Also, Zero Head shared the article too. It says, a Secret Service agent unknowingly disclosed sensitive information of White House assignments to undercover Project Veritas journalists. Basically, he was mocking Trump. He was telling this person where Trump was going to be. So he was literally confiding into someone that he truthfully didn't even know about the whereabouts of where Trump was going to be. It says the agent, identified by the media group as a Mr. Hendrickson, came across the undercover journalist on a dating app, appeared eager to impress her. So he shares pictures of him being in a Secret Service, but ultimately he talked about the exact location of the lawn and all the information that this person would need to get to the president and secret places. Well, if you're close to the White House, you can come in and say hi. I can tell you how to get there. Now, could this all be a spoof and this person just be saying random stuff to impress this lady? Maybe so. But if we have people that is close to the protection of Trump, who doesn't like him. He actually came out and stated how much he does not like Trump. If these are the people guarding him, how good of a job are they actually doing? I want to ask you that. I mean, think about this for a second. If you hire an employee, I'm an employer, if you hire an employee who literally despises who he works for, do you think he's going to do a good job? Do you think he's going to excel in his job? Well, it's the same situation where if Trump can't hire and fire and he can't actually put the people around him, no matter what you think about all this situation the last week, he's still in risk. And why in the world would we want people around him that actually don't believe the way he thinks? It makes no sense to me. Along with that, you have people who go on these dating apps and they're willing to just spew all this stuff. So that goes back to say, our top secret information and our security clearances and all that, shouldn't we vet that a little bit better? I mean, this kind of goes to the auto pen situation that we've been talking about with Biden, which no one will ever come to justice. No pardon will ever be overturned because you have weak Republican congressmen like Jim Jordan and Comer. All of them speak good game, but none of them actually do anything. Sorry to bust your bubble. They're not going to do anything. But that same situation, we have too many people who have access to the auto pen. I mean, there was like 6 or 7 people now that has quote unquote signed things for Biden. It's the same situation that we see with Trump now. Should we just simply lock down the White House to where people hardly go in and out, and the people that come in have so much clearance that are so vetted that we know this kind of stuff won't happen? Think of this journalist not being a journalist. Think if they were a bad player. Think if they were a spy. Think if they were a bad agent. Think if they were a double agent for another entity. What information could they get from the Secret Service agent in this detail to get into the White House or at least get on the grounds? That's just mind-blowing to me. So should the White House go into lockdown? I actually do. I believe that Trump's schedule should be so tight. Even to me, even the people that are on the lower ends of the details of the Secret Service and the Capitol Police and all that shouldn't know his movement. It should be almost anonymous, because I'm scared that the way that politics work now, and so many people that don't like Trump or don't like the other side or whatever it may be, they're not going to do their very best job. Think about that for a second. I mean, honestly, this guy literally came out against, quote unquote, against Trump and his policies. Go back to your job. If you hate your job, you're not going to do the very best job that you can do compared to if you loved your job. If you loved who you work for, you're going to excel at it. If you hate who you work for, you're probably just going to time clock in, time clock out, could care less, and just get the job done so you won't get fired. That is not what represents America. And if that's what exceptional looks like, I'm scared to see how bad average looks like, because we cannot tolerate this kind of situation anymore. A security breach from a guy that's on a dating app. That's a pretty big deal. Our sponsor today is Cove Pure, but I want to bring up a story, and this is what makes me think about water. Right now, there's a story that's going around that, there's not enough water in the ground because you see, of course, companies like Nestle trying to buy the water rights. You see in the West, the government owns a lot of the water rights. A lot of the water rights have been diverted out of reservoirs, like in California. But also, there's another thing called AI super data centers. These AI super data centers are getting placed in inconspicuous places all across the nation because they're needing the grid, for sure. But guess what else they need to cool these big servers off and these areas off? They need water. Or there's a story that shows that there's not enough water. There's not enough water to do this, and then what they're doing is bringing the water into these chemical-laced server areas to cool it, to then put it back out into the ground. The question then comes down to, if we're building these data centers, and we already see the problems with some of the agricultural leaching, some of the other problems with chemicals in our water, how much more dangerous is it going to be when the water rights are leaving us, the reservoirs are leaving us, and the fact now that you see these AI data centers are pulling too much water in to do the cooling? Now, technology, is it a bad thing? I did not say it's a bad thing. But if we're using water to cool it, when water's already a pretty big deal, we need to make sure that we are being very smart with this. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, Colby, you just saw these areas flooded. Look at all the water. Yeah, but see, that water can be very much tainted because it's going over everything, hitting all the debris, all the trash, and then, of course, it goes right into the Gulf. My point is saying this. Water is key to life. And when we start using it for everything else other than clean, purified water for us, that's a problem. Now, before we actually go to the stories, a word from today's sponsor. Misty and I are very mindful of what our children eat, what our family eats. Part of that is actually what we drink, our water. Remember, our body is made up of 60% water. And sadly, water is something that we don't really talk about enough. That's why today I want to talk to you about Cove Pure, a water filtration system that sits right on your kitchen counter, something that we've been using for months here at the Max. You already know about all the industrial and farming waste that gets leached into our ground each and every day. Harmful pesticides and chemicals like nitrates, which increase the risk of colorectal cancer, or lead and arsenic, which have been long associated with behavioral and cognitive impairment, particularly infants and young children, are linked to disease such as Parkinson's. And you think the regular pitcher filters you get at the local store will help protect you. Well, spoiler alert, they will not do such things. Recent study shows that the pitcher filters like Brita only filter out about 23%, that's 23% of arsenic in our water. If you really want clean, pure water, you have to go with the system like Cove Pure. Cove Pure filters out 99.9% of harmful contaminants, which includes arsenic. Hey, don't take my word for it. Look at this study that shows exactly what I just said. Not only does it completely purify our water, the system is compact, so it's perfect for people with smaller spaces, and I just love that. This is something that we keep on our counter. You actually think it's just a part of the features because it's so small, so ergonomical, but it is so perfect. Easy to use. Our children use it. If you want cold water, hot water, warm water, y'all know I wouldn't promote a product or something that we were not particularly using or something that we didn't believe in. Water is the key to life, and good, clean, healthy, purified water with back sources is the key. Check out Cove Pure today, covepure.com/themax. You get $200 off today. Check with them. Go to covepure.com/themax. Links in the description, but please go check them out, get $200 savings, and know that the water you're drinking each and every day is the best and brightest and the most quality to support your family. All right, new story come out that international buyers are purchasing American homes, $56 billion worth of American homes in just 1 year. Why do you think our government allows for international buyers to buy into our homes? That makes no sense to me. Because I can't go buy a shack in any other country, but we're allowing for $56 billion worth of real estate to be sold to buyers international. That is infiltration of American grounds. Foreign buyers purchased $56 billion worth of existing homes in the United States between April 24 and March 25, up 33% over the last 12 months. Now, think about this. We already hear that there's not enough homes. We need to build more. I mean, I think Trump and, of course, Trump on the right and then like California, Gavin Newsom on the left everybody's saying we need to build more homes. There's not enough homes for everybody here. Well, first of all, we, imported literally 20 million, 30 million people. Whole other story there. But on top of that, if that's such a big deal, why did we allow international buyers along with governments to come in and start buying these homes? You think that's smart? What are they going to contribute when they're buying our homes? Just to get a quick sale, we won't allow them to have it, but now they have full access of American property and real estate? I don't understand this. You have FDA, USDA, of course, all the agricultural department, Arkansas, Missouri, all these states come out and do this big push that we're not allowing China to buy the farmlands anymore. It's all lies, people, because they're saying you're not going to allow China to buy the farmlands after they've gotten all the intelligence they probably wanted next to those military bases over the last 5 to 10 years. It should have been never allowed to be sold to them. But what they're not telling you, when they're acting like that's a success, guess who the biggest buyer of this 56 billion homes for 1 year? Guess who the biggest buyer is? China. Listen to this. It says, in the terms of property, they bought 78,000 units. That means international buyers bought 78,000 units. 44% from the previous year. Of those buyers, China was the biggest buyer. 15% of all foreign purchases was all Chinese related. Then Canada, then Mexico, then India, then the United Kingdom. The top housing market for international buyers is Florida. Then it was California, then Texas, then New York, then Arizona. Now, hear me out. What did I say yesterday's video? The infiltration of America is starting in places like California and New York. We talked about those. And then I said, who was the next? Texas, Florida. And the last one on this list was a border state. Do you not see the infiltration? Do you not see the problem? And this is where I get so perturbed at Republicans. They go out there and they grandstand about telling us how they're not going to allow China to buy the farmland, but they're letting them buy real estate. See, it's so dirty. Politics is so dirty, people. They're telling you one thing about doing another. It's so dirty. It says, to some degree, due to stubbornly high mortgage rates, a greater share of international home buyers paid cash. So now they're buying it with cash to show that there's no truth to where this money went to. There's no mortgages to find information about these people. They're just paying cash for them. Like, oh, well, no harm, no foul. Let this Chinese, billionaire to come in that's tied to the government, because remember, CCP is over everybody's money over there. Let's let this Canadian person that's from wherever, we don't care. They're getting cash. It's a great sale. Great for our economy and real estate. You see what we do? We let it lie. It's amazing how we're mad at people coming across the border. We tell people they can't buy our farmlands, but then we allow our real estate to be sold like crazy. And the government is telling you now we have a shortage of homes, when homes are at a very highest rate because of supply and demand issue. But 56 billion amount, 56 billion, let's go back to the number, the very top of the article, 56 billion, which was the amount of 78,100 homes or units or apartments. 78,000 in 1 year sold to international buyers, the biggest buyer of China. Unbelievable. This is just, if that doesn't freak you out, it should. Who bought the house next door? Was it Steve, your cousin, your friend, or was it some international spy? You don't know. They paid cash for it. Who cares? It's unbelievable. I want to throw a few stories at you real quick, because this is the breakdown of the society I was talking about. New story. Ginger fluid 19-year-old attempts to firebomb GOP office in Michigan. The politics of this situation shows that we can't control this. About the White House on lockdown. These kind of people is why you have to lock down. This is why you have to know that Trump is, or whoever is president, whoever's governor, is safe, because you have people like this who are literally losing their marbles, they can't even tell who they are, that's wanting to throw Molotov cocktails literally into a Republican committee chair and try to blow it up. You had the guy last week from Minnesota that said that, truthfully, Tim Walz wanted me to, take out the senator. Now, this is a guy in a manifesto that said he's going to die anyway, so he's just going to tell it all and spew it all. Well, anyways, he was caught. But the thing is, he killed two people. He took two people's lives that were representatives, and he was supposed to take another one in the name of, quote-unquote, Tim Walz. Breakdown of society. James Comer comes out and is like, this auto pen thing, we're going to handle it. We're going to fix it. We're going to expose them. Nothing will ever get done. Jeff Zients will be fine. Joe Biden will be fine. The doctor will be fine. Nothing will happen. You know why? Because of weakness in politicians. FDA comes out this week. RFK. Top story again. Make America healthy again. Are we really making America healthy again when we're allowing for embracing of psychedelics? We want to embrace things like ecstasy and LSD that can help. Special mushrooms. And if this is all done in a controlled environment, then we believe that we can utilize it for good, for depression. No, what you're saying is, I want to drug the population, and as long as we do it in a controlled environment, it's okay. It says RFK Jr. and other Trump officials embrace psychedelics after FDA setback. For decades, proponents of psychedelic drugs have come to Washington in a way to say a legal mind-altering substance like LSD and ecstasy should be approved for the American grappling with depression and trauma and hard-to-treat situations. RFK says, we believe we can use this. Rick Perry, who used to serve under Trump and, of course, used to be the former governor of Texas, says he's in full support of this effort, using this to help individuals. No, what drugs do is kind of like medicine sometimes. If we don't actually fight the problem, healing the symptom is not fixing the problem. And that's exactly what we do. It's like duct taping a pipe that's got a leak. We got to fix the leak. You can't just keep putting stuff on it and expect that leak not to come back. Kind of like your headache. When you take Tylenol, you're masking the pain. The pain doesn't go away. You just mask it with the pain reliever. What you should do is find the source of the problem with these people. The source of the problem is not, they need something to mask their pain, their depression, their trauma. They need spiritual healing. They need help in other ways. They need to talk to a counselor or a Christian pastor. They don't need drugs to basically control them. FDA comes out and says they're going to keep on taking out food dyes and artificial flavorings. Also, Coke is now going back to sugar cane. Great, wonderful. But what about all the prescriptions that people are on that they can't get off of? I love what we were doing this fentanyl bill yesterday. It's great. Stop it. You have a legalized problem of prescriptions too. And nobody wants to talk about that. That's what I was telling you yesterday about the simulation with legal immigrants. We have a legal immigrant problem, but we also have a legal immigrant problem because the people from like Minnesota, Michigan, all them, they're not assimilating. So even though we've given them legal status, they still don't like us. So that's a problem not only illegally, but legally. Same way with the situation with FDA. Now they're telling you, well, illegal things are bad, so we're going to ban them. Yes, we should take out artificial dyes and artificial sugarings. We're going to ban them. But as long as we control the drugs in surplus and really tax them, that's really what it comes down to. As long as we control it, then it's okay if people use psychedelics. Okay. Long as we're taking out the food dyes, we can still allow for legalized pharmaceuticals to keep being oversold by these people and these doctors giving them out like candy and just keep people drugged. We cannot cover up the problems anymore. That's why the society is breaking down. You have Congress who won't actually do anything. You literally have cover-ups that are taking place that now is splintering the MAGA base. You have Elon and the technocracy that was supposed to help us is now going against Trump because of them not agreeing on either energy surpluses or cuts or money. Our society is faltering. We're selling our next door neighbor homes to some guy that we can't pronounce and we don't know who he is. He bought it with cash and we don't see him and we're worried that he's going to be a spy. Do you realize the dangers of our society and what we're facing? This is not a sky is falling. I hate when people get on my channel and they're like, you're just a fearmonger. I'm not. I'm literally telling you what is happening. And if we are not honest about it, then you're just going to put your proverbial head in the sand and you're going to be the ones that's going to be looking for government to heal and help you. That's why we have 65% of people wanting Medicare for all. They don't even know what they're asking for. But they want Medicare for all because they know they can't afford living anymore. That's why the socialists and communists in New York City and now in Minnesota is getting clout. Because people depend on the government to fix all their problems now. Why do we look to the government to do all that? It's amazing to me. It really is. It's time to be independent and get away from that. Last two stories I want to bring up. The AI companionship. It's just another sign of how we're going to be away from people and cut people off all in the name of companionship. Honestly, let's just be honest here. Sometimes our spouses, sometimes our children, sometimes our parents, they can get on our nerves. We love them, but there's times that we may disagree. Correct? Am I right? Yes. There's times that I probably do something that chaps Misty off. There's times that my kids do something and I have to get on to them. There's sometimes that my parents need something and have to run and go do it real quick. There's times that people just, they irk us. The crazy thing is this. Now AI is using platforms like, Twitter or X, Elon, and then Meta is building companionships. They're building you friends that are going to fit your every need. They're going to know you and make sure they understand your algorithm so they will never let you down. They're really building lifelike avatars now. Now, how's that going to play into? What they're going to do is they're going to use those avatars and they're going to end up becoming robotics. We're pushing away the world, pushing away people, because we're rather to have AI bots that are our friends. We're building new friendships with computers. There's a new story that said that AI literally is dumbing people down because they're relying on AI more than their own research. So we're making a dumb, drugged up, fully automated, fully lazy society that depends on computers and the government to fix all our needs. Last story. Drones. We've had drones kind of flying over here and it was a big deal. I told you before, we had curfews because of some of the issues with some of the areas in our little town here because we're on a main thoroughfare. They've had some problems with gangs and things like that. So now the police, a new chief, because the other one got out of there, the new one's in, and he came in and said, we're going to start using drones that can get above the air within 20 seconds and see any part of the city so it can see the crime. Now, when we think about that, that's great because we can see security, we can see where the problem's going, we can keep officers safe. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? We're willing. Everybody was a full agreement in our town for that. You know why? Because they were willing to give up parts of their freedom. Thermal imaging drones that can see inside your home, can see everything going on. They're willing to give up their freedoms for security. That's how we break down society. We're willing to applaud people to take away our freedoms as long as we're secure. That's how 2020 happened. That's how the next one will happen. That's how they do it. Civil unrest causes for overreaching government. Overreaching government allows us to feel safe, and we're willing to give up our freedom for it. It's happening day in and day out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on today's videos. Should we lock down our elected officials like Trump to keep them safe? Because we have situations where people don't like them that work for them, and that could be a problem. Do we see the society breaking down? Do we see the problem with selling foreign homes when our government told us they're not going to do that farmland thing anymore, but they're going to allow the homes to be sold? It's all lies, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless.
Be free.